Hi, how are you doing today? This is Kenny again. A couple of friends have asked me to make a video about what kind of piano you should actually be looking at if you're interested in starting taking lessons. Okay, I just decided to make a little slideshow about it. There's so many options that you have, so many price ranges, but let's just see how it works, okay? I will try to show you now. Okay, here is the first slide. This is the grand piano. It's the granddaddy of them all. This is the most expensive, but it is the most beautiful. You know, you can get them in any sizes, any looks, any colors, mostly black, but you've seen sometimes white ones, all right? Okay, they got beautiful sound, they look good, they're very controllable. What I mean about controllable is pitch and stuff. It's easier to get expressiveness on an instrument like this. Disadvantages though, very large. You need a whole room usually for this thing. Alright, a lot of people actually don't even play the grand piano and they have one just because it looks so darn good, but that's because they got lots of money, I guess. But that's another story. Another disadvantage, it needs tuning. That can be a bit expensive too. It does nothing wrong worse sounding than a nice beautiful grand piano that's out of tune. Another thing, yes, not easily transportable. If you move, you have to pay someone to move this thing because, yeah, that's expensive. And talking about its price, yeah, they can be very expensive in general. They can be thousands of dollars, these things. They are beautiful. If you can afford it, all power to you. The next one down on the list, okay, there it is, the upright piano. Now this one, very much like a grand piano, it's acoustic, it has hammers. Hammers are hitting strings, much like a grand piano. And they look good too. This is a very nice one. This is a nice old one. And they're very controllable, beautiful sound, just like an upright. But, you know, they are also large. They also need tuning. And again, if you have to move them, yeah, it is a problem. You still need to get a piano mover. However, they're not nearly as expensive as a grand piano. They're moderately expensive, and you can get a used one for very good prices nowadays. You just look on the internet and stuff. It's much, much cheaper than a grand piano. So this might be a good option. They don't take up as much room, you know, and they do sound really good. Okay, the next one on the list, the electric piano. Now this is probably the more popular choice nowadays. They sound really good nowadays. At first, electric pianos, this is an old one, it probably didn't sound as great, but the great thing about an electric piano is they are portable, they don't need tuning because they're electric, they're very controllable, not quite as good as an acoustic instrument, and there are many features. I'll show you a couple other ones. This one's a little more up to date. Okay, the make doesn't really matter. Yamaha, Casio, Roland. All right, there's a large variance in makes, and there's certain things that you can't do in a digital piano, but I wouldn't take too much concern about that. There's another one, and this is the one I use. This is a Yamaha. This is the one I'm using for these videos, and it's a very good piano. I've had this about 15 years. It was originally in the $1,000 range. It's probably a lot cheaper now, and it's the best thing about these things are they're portable. For example, here's me playing at a birthday party in a bar using that same piano, that same Yamaha. Okay, so it's portable. You don't have to tune it. You can bring it around. So I would almost recommend if you're just starting, an electric piano. They are cheaper, and you know you can get a cheap one if you're just trying it out. You know, you don't have to go really very expensive. Okay, the next little thing, just a slide thing, pedals. These are the pedals on a grand piano. There are 3 pedals. Okay, on a grand piano, all 3 of them usually work. All right, this one over here, the right hand, is a sustain pedal, which just holds down the notes, keeps them sustained. This one over here is a soft pedal. It just makes the whole piano a lot quieter. The middle one don't even worry about it. It's one of those things that, you know, on grand pianos they generally work, but they're very rarely used. It kind of sustains the bass, but not the treble. Very rarely used. Okay, this is my pedal on that electric one. It's probably worth about $20. It just plugs into the piano, and it's very easy. You could carry the pedal around with you. It just comes with it. And an electric piano, no, you do not need a soft pedal, because guess what? If you want it softer, you just turn down the volume. All right? But this is a sustain pedal, and it just works just fine. It's just a plastic thing, but it's just a switch, but it works perfectly. Now on to seating. Now this is up to a personal preference. This is a very expensive bench on this grand piano. This actually can be raised. There's a little handle here. If you notice it can go up and down. And it's a very comfortable, nice looking seat. However, sometimes, you know, you don't want to spend that much on the seat. So this one's a drum stool. I've played on a drum stool many times. But personally, my preference is here. I've just used this chair with a pillow on it. Right? Why? Because it's got a back on it. And if you're playing for any length of time, sometimes you just want a back to comfort. Back injuries are bad for piano players at times. I remember many years ago I was playing for ballet schools, and I'd be playing for 6 hours at a stretch, and I just used a stool or a chair with a back on it. It's just so much better for your health sometimes. But whatever you wish, it's just a matter of whatever you're comfortable with. Okay, now just a couple of things what not to get. These things. This looks like a piano. It is not. This is called a MIDI controller. You can't even plug this in and play it. It uses piano keys because it makes it easier, but what these things are done is this is used, DJs use them. They are actually plugged into the computer to make recording piano sounds or any sound. You're just making DJ material using digital audio stuff, but you just can't use this thing as a digital piano. It's not really that way. It's great if you're a DJ and you want to make sounds and you want to make dance music and stuff. But those keys are not necessarily piano keys. You can program to be drums and stuff. So it's kind of a bit weird. And here's another one, a really fancy one. You'll notice a MIDI controller. They always say they're a MIDI controller, but they'll have all kinds of controls on them. Buttons, bells and whistles, all kinds of stuff to make DJ stuff. And the final one you don't want to get. Okay, it's kind of a bit silly. Children's piano, yes, it's great for kids. But no, you'll not be able to play too much on one of these things. And you can't really tell by this video, but usually a children's piano, the keys are even smaller than a normal standard piano. You don't want to learn on one of these things and then have to relearn on standard keys. This one's kind of a bit ridiculous, but there are children's pianos. They're very cheap. Yeah, if you want to play one, you can. But that's really not exactly what the best thing to go about. Okay, thank you very much. I've had a good time making this video with you. The best thing I can advise is just whatever your price range, whatever you actually need. And yes, you can get used stuff very well, either upright piano or even used electric pianos. They don't go out of date too very much. They keep very well unless they're damaged. So up until now, that's all I have to say about choosing a piano. Have fun.